Emma, she's my good friend for how many years? Emma, 4 years since the year that we had a big flood, right? Big flood. That's not the first time, but the first time we met. Not the first time for you being in Thailand. And this year I went to Sweden to have the conference. I had a conference there. And on the last day, she texted me and tell me that I'm going to pick you up from the hotel and send you to the airport. And once I took a chance to tell her that, Emma, would you like to be a speaker in my conference? I'm going to set up conference here. She said, yeah, I will because I work in Nan for a long time and I love it here. And yesterday she went to Chiang Klang, right? She went to Chiang Klang. She's supposed to be back in the city, but of course the people at Chiang Klang did not allow her to come back. She had to spend one more night in Chiang Klang because everyone loves her. Okay, please give a clap to Emma Johnson here.
It's nice to be here, to be back in Nan again. I've been here, I think 3 times now, and I've been in Thailand. The first one was 91. Yeah, and let's start with the school age milestone for water safety and swimming skills for children in Sweden. And I just want to start with all this is taken from the SMS. It's a Swedish Life Saving Society website. And this is me and my daughter in Sweden. And in Sweden we start with children when they are 3 months old, and they be able to play in the water and do flotations and other things. And then we continue when they are like 3 years old with, we call it mini swim. And then we do a little bit more with the babies, and it costs a little bit of money, it's not for free. But later on in Sweden, we start with the schools. And we also have swimming schools, swimming classes for adults. And right now in Sweden, I work with refugees. So a lot of refugees is coming to Sweden. Stroke and backstroke. And passing rate is to swim 200 meters, where 50 meters should be backstroke. Life saving during all 4 seasons. In Sweden, we get summer, fall, winter, and springtime. So we got ice as well. So we teach them how to do the life saving when it's ice outside. And we have also first aid, CPR, life saving. And if you have any question during the speech, it's no problem. Last time I had 8 minutes, 2 days ago, so now I think I have around 1 hour, so I can slow down a little bit. Cha-cha. The Swedish Life Saving Society, SLS, started the Children Life Saving School in 1993 to spread water knowledge and water safety throughout the schools. And this is a life form. It's taken from Dr. Johnny in Finland, so I used his picture, he sent it to me. And everywhere where we have open water in Sweden, we have this, just for safety, for everyone's safety. And I think later I will show how to use this one, and not this one, but yeah. Just one easy thing I want to say, because in all swimming holes, and like in bathrooms, it's very slippery. So what you can use very easily is to put socks on. Put socks on the children's feet, and they won't slip as easily. It's quite cheap and very helpful. Yes. And this is the water awareness, and I also have this folder with me, and it's in English, but you can find it on internet, maybe not in Thai, but in English, a lot of them. You can have a look later on. And the first one is always swim together with somebody. Swim along the shore so you be safe. Don't jump or dive in unknown waters, like there could be rocks underneath, could be very, very deep, so just be safe. Never push or hold someone under the water. Only call for help during emergency. A lot of children, especially children, play in the water and they have a lot of fun. But never say help, just when you need it.
Excuse me, Emma, did you say something else apart from help? When they got drowned, when the kids playing in the water together and someone got drowned, they do not say help, right?
Hopefully not. That's what we want to teach them.
Yeah.
Because if they say help, then someone is come running.
Yeah.
And maybe unnecessary, maybe necessary. So only when they need help.
Yeah, sometimes also when they're playing together and someone got drowned, our kids, sometimes they say nothing and they just walk back to the house. Yes.
ถูกไหมครับบางคนเด็กจมน้ำหายไป3วันไม่ใช่3วัน3ชั่วโมงไปเล่นด้วยกันกลับมาบ้านคนเดียวไม่บอกใครอะไรเลยนั่งเงียบๆเหมือนกลัวว่าจะโดนทำโทษอะไรอย่างเงี้ยนะครับเขาก็ไม่บอก They wouldn't say anything because of sometimes when they say it out that we went out to play water together and someone got drowned then I got back and
beaten and or something, yeah.
No, it's very important to say help, but just scream out. Never swim under bridges or diving ramps because you have no idea what's underneath. Avoid the sun during the hottest hours of the day. In Sweden we have like 25 degrees, but anyway it's quite important because you need to drink a lot of water in Sweden as well. Always keep a distance between yourself and the person in need. This is what we call the extended arms. We talked about it at the conference the other day. Like if you try to save someone in the water, take something from the woods, take your trousers, take a towel, take your sarong, whatever, just to keep in between you and the person in need. Always notify somebody of where you are planning to swim and then you are expecting to return. So tell someone that I'm going to swim today and I'm going to be here and there. Then someone knows where you are. And I would like to add something. Almost everyone is using the cell phones nowadays. And it's very, very important just to put down the cell phone when you have your children with you or someone else. Because nowadays it's very common to sit there and use your cell phones instead of look at your children. And as I said in Sweden, I know there's some people from the United States here, and you have to help me with this if you want. In Sweden we teach breaststroke. We use our legs like it's frog, scissor and clip. And why we do this? It's a relaxing way to swim. And it's very good when you do the life saving for your own and other safety. This is our children in Shanghai. And you see when they lay on the back, it's very, very relaxing way to swim. And if you are need to save someone like 200 meters out, it's easier to use the breaststroke and the backstroke. And the good or bad about the breaststroke, that we can discuss later on. But in Sweden, we start to use it with the children. Some people say it's very hard to coordinate both legs and arms together. It's easier to do the curl, like you do like this with the legs, correct? But in Sweden we try. We really try to do the breaststroke. because it's saving people's life. And here's some statistics. During the last 10 years, 1,058 people drowned in Sweden. That's over 100 per year. And unfortunately, the immigrants are not in this list, and the refugees are not in this list. It's only Swedish members. And increased water knowledge provides increased water habit. Thank you. And as we teach at the swimming school, that we have to remember that every child is different, and they teach in different ways. Someone has easy to do the breaststrokes or do the curls. It's very different. And our swimming schools always see each child's individual needs, regardless of the stroke the child learns. It requires a certain levels of basic motor skills. Some children learn breaststroke more easily, and some learn crawl easier. And the crawling we do a lot when they go to swimming lessons when they want to compete. So first we would like to start with the breaststroke. It's very important to look after the children's needs and from that adjust the level of swimming lessons. Everyone who learns to swim should always learn the basic of safety through both breaststroke and backstroke. It is a virtual skill which you find useful throughout life. When children have learned how to stay safe in the water and their surroundings, they feel a sense of freedom and, of course, joy. And this is a picture of me and my colleague when we did a swimming project in Chiang here in Nam.
Okay, that's for the first part of your presentation.
Huh?
All right. Okay, is there any question about this? I would like to ask you, Dawn, is there something similar or something different? Let me grab your microphone.
So I can only speak for Cincinnati, but no, there is not. We actually, although we should, we do not promote our kids to swim. A couple years ago, we had two brothers that drowned in a pool, and there were adults all around the pool, and none of the adults could swim either. So they watched these two boys drown because they couldn't help. Our rec centers opened and tried to promote free swim lessons, and they got it helped a little, but it's not something that we promote. Even though we have rec centers that have pools, we're building new rec centers that have pools. It's just not something that so far they've seen a priority, although we do see the drownings. So I don't know what we need to do to get that on the radar.
Because regularly we don't have a swimming pool at home, and very difficult to find place to swim right now because the water run dry in many rivers. That's one thing. So I would suggest that we should practice swimming without water first. If we can do this, when the children go to the swimming with water, they can increase that energy and interest in swimming in the real water. Because sometimes children go to swimming only once a month, only. But if you can practice exercise in swimming technique every day in front of the flag pole, and we suggest them little swim. Example, do this and put the song. Swimming, 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 let's swim every day, and then we do that. And we can also practice breathing, like swimming, breathing. I had to do this with my child, and I'm fortunate that he almost drowned. We practice by practice breathing with the bowl of water first. And who encourage him to breathe, I breathe with him one bowl for each. And I told him that who can hold the breath as long as possible. So this is a basic technique that I use with my child. What is your comment on that? Thank you.
So the question is, where can you do it in Thailand? Like,
Yeah.
It seems like is it possible to just like practicing without the water first, preparing them the children to get ready for the water once they reach to the pool or the water resources, they can practice with the real water. Then, what do you think about that?
hopefully in Thailand you will have it in the curriculum as well as we do in Sweden one day. Because I know in the private schools they have swimming pools. Like we've been to many schools in Thailand. So one school they have a swimming pool. So hopefully one day they will do the same in Thailand. In Chiang Mai we rented or like we hired the pool and we had to pay for all the participants. So there is a lot of private pools. Like this is a resort in Chiang Mai, not for the schools. So we used a resort pool, like a private pool. So I know it's very hard.
The reason I suggest that because if the children have been well prepared with their muscle and the breathing technique, so once they go into the pool, they will enjoy more swimming. If they don't prepare well, when they get into the swimming, they get boring. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And also true that we talked about before today, that it's very easy to get cramps. Yeah, and even though if you do the breaststroke, you can just relax and lay on your back, look at the sun or flowers or birds or whatever, and just relax for a few minutes and then continue to swim. And we have done the work I'm going to talk about later. But you can also, it costs a lot of money though, but it's a portable pool, a swimming pool. So maybe we can use in the safe community to move around and fill up with water, and then we can have swimming lessons. That's my suggestion.
Okay, that's for the first part, right? And then we will go to the second part. Because once you see there's a lot of differences between Swedish school curriculum in terms of swimming skills and also here in Thailand. So you try to implement those swimming lessons for students here in Thailand 4 years ago in Chiang Mai. And here we go, right? Let's start.
So this is our drowning prevention and life-saving program and implementation and evaluation. And this is me and my friend Therese. We did our bachelor degree project in public health, and supervisor was Gustav Dalal and examinator Mervyn Clifford. And I'm now educated in public health, and I'm also educated as a swimming teacher since '94 in Sweden. And we had the opportunity to join the team of Ramatibodi Hospital. So we joined a month with you, I think. But yeah, so we joined them with their work every day for 1 month, and we did a lot of research. And one day we came to this place in, I think it was Pidgit, where a girl had drowned. And then me and Therese started to think about a final exam, what we could do and what we could do for the world or for Thailand or for us to write about. And so we visited a place where a girl had drowned, we visited her parents, and we talked a lot with the team of Ramatibodi Hospital what to do. And we talked about how we work in Sweden, all of the life-saving equipment we have around our lakes. And this was when it was flooded in Thailand, 2011, and the government digged a lot. So the rivers were quite big, and I think this girl didn't know about this, and the water was quite strong, so she drowned. Her friends tried to help her, but it didn't work out, so too bad this girl drowned. And then me and my friends started to think, what should we do? And on the bus over to Cambodia, this is Cambodia, we had the idea clear. So now I'm going to present our work. And this is me and Therese. We are on our way to Bangkok. You can go back one? Yeah. So this is all the equipment we brought with us from Sweden. We had 3 lifeboards. We had a lot of swimming tools that Therese is holding in her hands. We had these, I have no idea what you call it, that we put air in and put on children's arms so they can float easily. And we had a lot of things. So this is when we finally came to Bangkok to CISI Research Center in Bangkok. So we gave one lifebuoy to you, and I hope you use it. Yeah. Thank you. And I don't know, the background is somewhere else here, but the background you know is the third leading course. Drowning is the first leading course of that in Asia, so that's why we did this work. And the aim of the object was to develop a drowning project program, including swimming training, CPR, life-saving methods for children, and to evaluate it. And the definition of drowning, according to WHO, is the process of experiencing decreased respiration from immersion of liquid. And our method is, this intervention was provided and evaluated in Thailand, here in Nam and Bangkok as well. The study used observation, quantitative and qualitative methods. Total of children in the age of 7 to 10 from Nam province in northern Thailand participated. And now I'm back here so you know Nam. And first I want to present our swimming program. As I told you, I'm an educated swimming teacher. And with a little help from my friends in our town, Skövde in Sweden, we did this program. It's a 10-day swimming program. And this included, every day we started and ended with the presentation of the activity of the day. So the children know what to do and know how to do it, and they know what's going to happen tomorrow. So no question. Every day we have a lot of plays with them. So we had a lot of fun. And then we went in the water around the pool like a ling-ling, you know, monkey. Yeah. So they had to hold on to the pool edge and just to use the water, to get to know the water, to be safe in the water. And we did the breaststroke. Here is the first day with all the children and the parents. And me and Therese is sitting on the floor. And we showing them frog, scissor, clip. Every day we did this. And it was diving as well in the program. Swimming with clothes on, CPR, life-saving, flotation, a lot of flotation, and a final day. And I guess you have a question how we communicate with the children. Because it's quite hard to teach swimming in Sweden. With the Swedish children, they are like everywhere, in and out of the water. But I think we did a good job. We had an interpreter. She's called Kru Taiwan. She lives in Chiang Mai. She helped us a lot. We used the body language a lot. We showed them how to swim. We asked them if we can hold the legs and just show how to do the breaststrokes. And we have, as you saw on the other pictures, a lot of swimming tools and pictures. I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a lot of pictures we used the same as we use in Sweden. How to able to swim. There's a picture of a frog. There's a picture, as I talked the other speech, about the water awareness. To be careful with the water was underneath, and yeah, a lot of picture we had. I can send it to you on emails if you want. So I will start with the first day. This is the presentation, and here is also the one picture we used. And we presented us and the swimming program. We distributed questionnaires to all the parents. We used the frog, scissor, and cut on the floor, inside. And day 2, the swimming technique. We used name games to try to get to know the children better. We gave them swimming clothes from Sweden. We brought them with us. And we did frog, scissor, and cut on the ground and also in the water. And we dipped their head, if they wanted, of course. And in water you can breathe out, but impossible to breathe in. So we boiled coffee. You know what that is? Or Bas can explain? Boiled coffee? Like you do this in the water?
Yeah.
So they know that they can breathe out. So if they're underneath the water, you can always breathe out. Yeah. Day 3 is flotation. They were floating on the back and on the stomach, and we played games. A lot of games the whole time, so they find it very funny. And I can say one of the things when we had a meeting at Body, and they said, Emma and Therese, what should you do if the children won't show up? Whoops, we never thought about it. But the kids showed up. I think one child was missing one day because she was out of the town. But they were there 2 hours earlier than the lesson, every day. Day 4, we did a backstroke. And the floating exercises, and every day we did water safety with them, and we talked about self-esteem. That also we talked about what they could do in the future, so they can apply it in real life. Like you can work as a swimming teacher, you can work at Phuket to rent out water toys. So you can use it in your life later on. And we did the dolphin. The dolphin is when you're floating on your back, and then you flip over and float on the other way. And day 5, we did the life saving. And there you can see our interpreter. So we did life saving with lifebuoys. This is me and Teresa in the water, but later on the children were also in the water. We did the extended arms. And we also had some homemade life jackets. That's quite low cost to make. It's like water bottles, Coca-Cola bottles, whatever you can use. And then you just use rice bag and sew it together, and then you can use it in the water. So you don't have to bring all the stuff from Sweden or somewhere else or buy them. You can use them. Day 6, we swim with the clothes on. And it's quite hard to swim with the clothes on, especially in pools. It's easier in salt water to swim. But they did it very well, breaststroke, backstroke, and also flotation. Here you can see that picture, yeah, on the life vest. Yeah. And day 7, we did the diving and more flotation. We concentrate a lot on flotation because when in emergency, it's very easy to relax if you have done the flotation and you feel safe. So we did the diving from the pool edge, sitting on our knees first, and then there were people who wanted to do it standing up, they did. And we repeated flotation, as I said, and a lot of games. Day 8, we stayed inside and did CPR. We talked about risk behavior, as we talked about before today, like you shouldn't die where you don't know what's underneath. And if you're on the boat, don't stand up, and things like that. We did the CPR. We brought like 3 minions from Sweden that you can use for practicing, and we did the first aid. And then day 9, we did the rehearsal for the final day. And this day, the pupils had to make their own shows, what they want to show. And I can tell you a story. There was a little boy the first day. He was so scared, he almost cried to walk in the water. And he said, I want to do the floating. So the last day, the final day, he did the floating for everyone. So they had to choose if they want to dive, if they want to swim, whatever they like to show. Some show the life-saving CPR. We had children everywhere to show what they did. So this is the final day. And the results of our work is this intervention is that the children are highly capable of learning how to swim, to do CPR and life-saving activities within this 10-day program. All 20 participants successfully completed the swimming, CPR and life-saving program. The questionnaires from the parents also showed positive response. Our evaluation, the most important finds from the interview stakeholders is that they recommend the authors to teach other adults and that money is the main problem to support the project. The evaluation was made by interviewing 10 independent persons in the public health sector. The independent evaluations recommended that this program is very effective for saving lives and therefore needs more support from the local as well as the central authority. And in our discussion we talked about the main findings, positive response from all participants, a recommendation, educate local people so that we can spread the water safety like rings on the water, and drowning prevention awareness. The conclusion of this intervention study is that swimming program, as this one, is highly needed for saving life. This is summed up by the intervention results, the questionnaires, and the independent evaluators. Support from the locals as well as the central authority is also needed. Therefore, such swimming program shows the importance of swimming knowledge and water safety to prevent drowning in near future. Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
Any question or any comments? Well, seems like the money seems like to be the biggest problem. Well, but personally, I have the idea of if you have a personal connection with the pool owner, the hospital director, you get to know them and create some excellent programs just like this. It would help us a lot. You might think you need lots of money to do that, but thinking about how are you to save? If you lost one kid because of the drowning, what if this kid, when he grows up and he became a businessman with create lots of money into your community, such a very effective investment, wasn't it? And also, I'm not sure, have I told you this? It's a kind of personal story for myself, because once when I was like 3 years old, I fell into the water. And such a lucky that there's a boat nearby who saw me fall into the water, and he shouted to my grandma, who just walked in front of me, that there's a kid falling into the water. So my grandma just grabbed my hand, which I keep holding my hand just like this under the water. And she grabbed me and pull me from the water and to the land. If there's no one around and could see me, there's no need today.
So we are lucky.
I was very lucky, so I would like to pass on my lucky to others. Well, that's just a story. It's so common. It's so common. It's very common. It's very common. Is there any comments or any suggestion? Okay, it seems like we finished the things just before the schedule. I think we could have a break a little bit. I mean, a lunchtime would be a little bit longer than usual because the first we're planning to. Okay, sorry, Emma. Please give a big hands again for Emma. I don't want to stand. Thank you so much.